Dealing with a narcissist is like being on a roller coaster. Sometimes you are going in this direction, like you're going up and up and up, and feel this excitement, anticipation, this good, fun energy, and then you go down, 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 and it kind of takes like the breath out of you, and it creates this type of fear, maybe even survival mode, and then you take this turn, and then you kind of level out, and then again, this cycle. With narcissists, they are pretty well ego driven, and they really like to feed their ego. Can come in all different forms. It really is about, no matter who they're dealing with, what they're dealing with, nothing really matters to them unless if they have something in it for themselves. Relationships, anything. They usually find very empathetic people to really feed off of their joy, their light, because they don't know how to do it themselves. They will drag you on this roller coaster for as long as they possibly can. You can even put up boundaries with them. They may agree and they may behave for a while, but eventually it just goes right back to the same cycle of crossing your boundaries and feeding their own ego. And there's always an agenda to everything they do and say for themselves. Their higher power really is like just their ego, honestly. It all comes down to their ego, and the fear they hold is losing that ego. They will use other people. They will use materialistic things and situations to pull you into a situation that will feed them, that will benefit them in some way. They are all manipulative, and they may not even know that they do manipulative things. They are so used to it and ego driven. They will manipulate. They will lie, and then they will justify their lies to thinking that, nope, they were telling the truth. They feed off of weak people and people who are vulnerable to giving away their power, like empaths. No, they never change. They will never, ever change. They seem to have agreed to this way of life. They don't really care about anybody's situations, anybody's achievements, anybody's struggles, unless if it benefits them in some way, like it gains information on you. But they truly, really don't care. A lot of people are like this. They really don't care what you have to say and what you're going through in your life, unless if it makes them feel better about themselves, unless if they're gaining something from it. I've seen it my whole life in a lot of relationships where it is very one-sided. It seems that when you spark up a conversation and you're telling somebody what your goal may be and what you've been doing to get there, or some kind of struggle you've been dealing with, and they can be super short with you, and then they'll come back and explain to you what they're doing and what their goal is and how they're getting there. It's like this flip. They like to flip your situation somehow into their situation, or your feelings into somehow into their feelings. There is really not this balance of a give and receive. There's not this teamwork in feel like truly listened to and heard, and feel like your time is actually valued. It always seems that you get shut down in a way dealing with narcissists, and or even just egotistical people. You know, it always is turned around into what they have to say and what they're doing, what they're experiencing. You can explain all you want. You can try to tell them things all you want. You probably listen to them all the time and everything that they have to say about their lives. You're always there for them. And then when you come in and explain your part of life, they flip it around. They do. They flip it around into themselves. They create a whole story about themselves from your story or your life. It just is totally one-sided. Everything about your life, your situation, what you're dealing with, what you're going through, what you've experienced, what your end goal is, everything that your whole entire life, when you start to share that with these people, they will just take it, be short with you, don't ask questions unless if they benefit from it, and then they'll just go off about themselves in some way. It really is very rare to find people who actually value your time, value what you are really going through, like what you are truly experiencing or what you have experienced, feeling your excitement, feeling your achievement, how you feel in what you've achieved. It's very rare to find people like that, instead of people who just kind of step on it or shut it down and then just throw everything about themselves onto you. They just love it when their ego is stroked. I mean, they can really make themselves feel so powerful. And they love it when others feed that. They will usually use third-party situations. They will go to other people that you know and try to get to you through them or through these situations that you're connected to. There really is no talking to them because there's not this equal balance of a conversation. You can explain all these things, all these boundaries you have and how you feel, but they don't listen. They have selective hearing. They don't want to hear anything you have to say. They want you to listen. They're usually very, very controlling. They have high expectations of you, but not themselves. And when you speak your truth with them, stand your ground with them, put up your boundaries with them, they will totally lash out. They will just lose it. They'll try to manipulate the situation, and they will try to traumatize you in an argumentative way. They will psychically attack you. They will create these stories about who you are and tell you these things when you know deep down these things are not true. And they're really good at manipulating you into believing these things about yourself because they believe it. They create stories and they push themselves to believe their own stories. They will try to apply attachments in any way they can, especially through their words and materialistic things like gifts and their beliefs. They'll really kind of like try to pound that into your head. And later on, they will use everything, every little thing that they have ever done for you against you. Most of the time when you're trying to communicate with them, you feel like there's a wall, like you're talking to a wall. And it feels like you're expressing your feelings, your emotions, and your situation, but it's like hitting this brick wall that they have with you, and then it's like all of a sudden they'll tear down the wall after you're done and then just spill everything out onto you. They are usually very, very draining because narcissists are energetic vampires. They truly feed off of any kind of weakness, any kind of light that you may have and high energy you may have. They really feed off of it. They desire that. They constantly seek that out, and they really do use everybody in their life for their own agenda. So, just a warning. Narcissists don't change. They do not change. There are people with narcissistic tendencies, and that's really still difficult to deal with. There's a lot of people who have very high ego in a very negative way. And when you're dealing with somebody with a high ego, it is draining. You don't feel there's an equal relationship that is just balanced. You feel alone. You do. You feel alone in the relationship because you feel it's one-sided. They really are only interested in themselves. They truly are. And you can really see that. And the more you get to know them, everything becomes about them. Truly. Just stand your ground, speak your truth, hold your ground, live your truth, live authentically, and know that you are worthy of a very balanced, harmonious relationship, a balanced give and take, and you need to make sure you are giving as much time and energy as they are to you in the relationship. Maybe do some shadow work, confront any possible ways that you might know what your ego is, how you feed your ego in a negative way. And that is shadow work. Truly, how you can humble yourself. Becoming humble is coming to terms with all parts of yourself. The parts that you are not happy with, that you don't like about yourself. It is really confronting those and actually putting in the work to fix them, right? You don't have to shove them away, cut them out of your life, but really giving it love, some attention in a healthy, balanced way to heal. You can't go forward in life expecting all eyes to be on you, for you to be heard by everybody, but you not giving that in return. There is no way to be balanced and humble, compassionate, very giving, when you don't give the same as you expect to receive. Egotistical people will talk up themselves. They will tell others all the powers they hold, all the capabilities they hold, all of their achievements, all of their goals. They will talk themselves up and put themselves on a pedestal. They really need to get off their high horse, but it is really rare that that happens, that they get off the high horse, that they get off the pedestal. It really takes a life-changing experience. When you come across somebody who really talks themselves up constantly, okay, that's ego. They're feeding their ego. And they will seem that way. They will seem like they have something to prove to you. When really you're like, okay, I mean, right, like I agree with you, but like, can you take it down a notch? You know, and that happens a lot. And most of the time, you can try to bring these things to the forefront. It just seems you may get shut down over and over and over again, and there's really no point. Sometimes it's like, all right, I'll just feed your ego and then just do my freaking own thing, because you're really not gonna stop with this ego thing, you know, wanting everybody to pat you on the back, give you applause, and not do it to anybody else. And it just seems to never change. See, now these behaviors are part of the lower energies of the planet. The mind control, programming, the manipulative energies of the 3D. This is all part of the prison planet to keep you in this cycle, to keep repeating the same thing over and over and over, even if it's lifetimes, you know, keeps you in this lower vibrational state to where you can't become whole, full, and more fully aligned to God, Creator. Truly, it's not about the collective. It's not about a unit. It's not about the community. For narcissists and egotistical driven people, it's about themselves when it really comes down to it. So ask yourself every single day in what you're doing that day, all the actions, decisions, the words, what is the intention behind it? Is it just to benefit yourself? Or is it to come together as a whole to benefit them as well as you, the planet, right? You got to look at your intentions in everything you do. They do not want you to find your strength, and they do not want you to reclaim your power back in a humble way, okay? You're not asking to be the almighty, to be applauded, it's just this respect. So find your humility. Find compassion for yourself and others, everybody. It's really important to move forward in a way that you truly understand every part of yourself as much as possible in every day, not just once in a great while, but understand how your relationships are with everything: people, situations, energies, the past, the future, the present moment. It's really important to understand yourself and how you act, how you respect, have relationships. What are your relationships like? Knowing and understanding if they are one-sided or not. They will always be the victim, because it will always be everybody else's fault. It's never their fault. They will always play the victim game because they live in the victim mentality consciousness. They will always know more than you. They are know-it-alls. They always have more of an extreme story or experience or relationship. It's always more extreme than anybody else. They know what they're doing. They are actually quite intelligent individuals, narcissists. They just know what to say. They know how to get to you. They know the game. They know your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities, and they always play them against you. They will use anybody or anything to pin against you to fit their agenda. What's wild is that they all have the same tactics. They may play it in different ways, but they all do the same thing. They all play the same tactics. Everything's a game to them. And they truly do think they are like all powerful. Very high egotistical individuals are really only interested in themselves. And when they're in a situation, in a conversation, in a group, a community, anything like that, when they are not benefiting from it, when it's not about them in some way, they will remove themselves, or they'll make it about themselves. They'll do their very, very best to make you feel guilty, make you feel like you're in the wrong. They will manipulate you to make you question yourself, like truly deep down. And they know you're catching on, or speak some truth about maybe their actions, their behaviors, they will retreat and very quickly change the subject or switch the script. They never take accountability, ever. If they do, then there's manipulation behind it. They really like to bug people. They really like to get on people's nerves because deep down they are imbalanced. they are not aligned, and inside they don't have that inner peace and inner harmony, so they want everybody else to feel the same way or worse. It really comes down to this roller coaster, this cycle. It is a roller coaster having relationships with these people, narcissists and very high egotistical individuals. And it's never ending. It really is never ending. It may be good for a little while and then it's going to crash again. It may be good again for a little while, but it will crash again and worse. So learn your worth, truly find humility, because these people really may be humble in different ways, but they are not humble individuals. They may believe they are humble, but when you truly observe them, really listen, you'll be able to see and understand that really they are not humble, like, at all. And narcissists can go through many different struggles in life, just regular human being things. And I just believe that it comes down to what they truly choose, how they want to truly live, and if they're in it for themselves. They don't have any boundaries. They don't have any boundaries with themselves, with other people in their lives. They really have no boundaries, and they will cross any and all boundaries that they can, and they will burn bridges over and over and over again. Very chaotic usually in their energy, and that will drain you. And really pay attention to like how the conversation goes, and not just one conversation, but all of them, and really pay attention to if it, most of like 99% of those conversations is actually all about them. Find your humility. All right. Thanks for listening.